Hey everyone, it's Oscar here. I wanted to share my experience of the time I climbed Chief Mountain. A little bit about me. I've always wanted to climb a mountain. It's something I've been wanting to do for the past couple of years, but just never really got around to doing it. So how I got involved in all of this was a Facebook post. A friend of mine shared this post on Facebook and said, hey, you should try this out. You're always talking about doing this kind of stuff. And I just remember briefly reading through it, and I just saw a mountain. I was like, you know what, I'm in. I'll do that. So I signed up for the group. They put me part of a group chat, and I just forgot about it. A couple days passed. Sadly, we got the news that we had lost our grandmother on my father's side. And we're still actually dealing with the loss of my grandpa on my mother's side earlier this year. So I was trying to really navigate, I guess, my own grief. And how I deal with all of this is I tend to isolate. I shut myself off from the world, and I'm just in my own little bubble. But I remember sitting at home and it's just quiet, then all of a sudden my phone just starts going off, and I'm like, I wonder who this is. So I pick it up, and it's the group chat. The group chat is saying, can't wait to see you tomorrow. Really looking forward to climbing this mountain, And I just remember I was just about to send a text saying, I can't do this, I have to reschedule. But something was telling me, you got to do this. This is the only chance you'll ever get. You have to take it. Do it. Do it for your grandma. Do it for your grandpa. Do it for everyone, And then I just remember sending a text message, I'll see you tomorrow. So the next day, I remember I got up at like 3 in the morning. I started getting ready. I just packed a bag of what I thought you're supposed to bring on a hike. And I'm out the door. I'm on the road by 4 o'clock. I remember about halfway through, I'm thinking, I could still turn back. No one would know. I could still turn back. But I kept going. So I had to meet everybody in Cardston by, I believe, 6 a.m. That's when I met Nikki, Patrick, and the rest of the crew. So we just met up with everybody. Now we are currently on our way across the border. I'm heading hiking with this group, going to the mountain. Honestly, I don't even know what it's called. That was my first time driving through the actual border. I was scared. I was kind of stumbling over my words, and we got through. We get to the sign. We start taking some pictures, and I'm just doing my thing. Then we're on the road again. But right now, we are on our way to the mountain. They said we should be there within a half hour. And then we're gonna start climbing right away. And yeah, honestly, I'm excited. I'm nervous. We'll see how it goes. So we get to the base of the mountain, well, the bottom of the mountain, like the entrance. And it's just this muddy path going up, and you're bouncing all over the place. I actually almost got stuck. A little scary, but we're doing it. We're doing it. So we get to the base of the mountain, and I just remember getting out and seeing the mountain off in the distance, and then thinking, holy crap, we're actually gonna go do this, And we meet up with everybody, and we start a little briefing. You got to bring water, food. It's an all-day thing. You got to be respectful of the land. Leave with what you came with. No garbage whatsoever. Be very respectful, because it's a very sacred place. They gave us a little briefing of how the system is going to go. I believe Patrick was in the front leading us to make sure we don't go somewhere we're not supposed to, and then it'd be us in the middle, and then they would have Nikki in the back following us to make sure everyone got there safe and no one fell behind. And that's when we started our climb. So the first part of the climb was just these thick trees and this tight little trail. I'm thinking, this is easy. I can do this. And then we get to the next part. The next part was like this lake area, and you could just see all the trees out in the distance. And then we start climbing up higher, and we get to like, it just starts getting windy, and they kind of explain the direction we're actually going. So we have to go from the base through the trees around, and then we have to go around the mountain and then up. So we got to the halfway point, and the halfway point is like this little flat area just before the big climb. And we're sitting there getting to know one another, talking about if we ever climbed a mountain before, or if it's our first time doing this, why we doing this. And I explained to everyone why I was doing this. I was doing it to make an offering for my grandparents. I was doing it to make an offering for my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, my family, everybody, you know. And everyone was so supportive about that. I remember someone saying, we're going to make sure you get up there. We're going to make sure you get up there. And that's when we start talking about the next path. So there's this thing called the point of no return, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But like, basically, once you pass that point, you have to keep going. You cannot stop. They can't leave you there. You can't come back down. You have to go. You have to keep going, because they have to make sure you're safe. And I remember looking at the first part of the climb. The first part of the climb was this steep hill with these jagged rocks and loose gravel. You take 2 steps forward, you slide back. So it's like 2 steps forward, one step back. And I remember climbing up there, and I'm just like, don't stop, keep going, don't stop. I get about 3/4 just before I finished. I wanted to give up. I remember getting there, I was just like, I'm dizzy, I'm lightheaded, I can't do this anymore. Just, you know what, just let me sit here, I'll wait for you guys to come back down, or just let me climb back down, I'll be okay. And I just remember everyone just encouraging me the whole time, be like, you can do this, Oscar. We're doing this together. We're making sure you're gonna get up there. And I remember Patrick just telling me, trust me, follow me. Nothing will happen. Trust me. And whenever he said, trust me, I always said like, okay, I trust you with my life, Patrick. Trust you with my life. So we get to that part. We pass that part. The next part is like, you have to actually climb up these little cliff areas, and it's windy and it's scary. And I remember I got to this little cave area, and I was like, just leave me here. I'll be okay. When you come back down, take me with you here. And again, everyone's like, no, you got to finish this. And that was a bad time to actually tell everyone that I was scared of heights. And they're like, why are you climbing a mountain? I was like, I don't know. I wanted to see if I can do it. So everyone had a little laugh at that part. And that's when we began our climb. And that was the last stretch, I believe, to me, it looked like another, you have to climb up, but you can see from the edge that it's a straight drop. So I remember thinking I'm not going nowhere near the edge. And everyone, I just remember them kept saying, yeah, it's just right there. It's just right there. And at one point, I just kind of stopped believing in them. And then we get to the top. We made it. So I get to the top, and I just remember this flood of emotions going through, thinking, holy crap, I did it, Like, I tried to take a video, and I remember, you can see on my face that I'm both happy and scared at the same time. Like, I'm just trying to keep it together. So I made the offering, and I just remember this feeling like a weight has been lifted, thinking I can go now. I can go home. Things are going to be okay. And that's when we start making our climb down. And the climb down is just as hard. I remember we were trying to go down this one way. We were trying to go down another way, but it was just a drop. If we kept going, it would have just dropped. But we had to go down the way we came up. So that was challenging. I remember at one point thinking, you know what? If I fall, I'll get down faster. Just get me the hell off this mountain. And yeah, so I remember going down this the loose gravel, just kind of like taking steps, falling a couple times. It was tiring. So we get back to the point where we had lunch. We take our rest, get the rocks out of our shoes and everything. Just kind of talking amongst each other about feeling and everything. And for me, I'm just thinking, I'm tired. I want to go home. So on our way back, it was completely different. It was the same but different. Just a different view, I guess, and just taking it all in of what we accomplished there. So we get to the bottom, and that's when we say our goodbyes. And I remember as I'm leaving, my brother calls me, just calling to check on me, make sure I'm okay. And something he said that just really stuck with me. It's like, I'm happy for you. You're the closest to our grandparents than any of us. And it took me a while to actually understand that. Like, when you climb high to a mountaintop, you're the closest to heaven. And that hit differently. And I just remember the whole drive back reflecting on all of it, taking it all in. Like I was happy, I was sad, scared. Everything. Like I carried my grief up that mountain on one of the hardest things I've ever did. And even just for a moment, I got to let that go, I didn't have to carry that anymore. I wanted to give up so many times, but like the kindness of strangers kept me going. These people who I just met that day would not let me give up, And I'm very thankful for that. Like the whole experience has, for me, been life-changing. Like, if I had to give anyone advice, you can do anything you put your mind to. Anything. I'm truly thankful for the experience and the opportunity to climb Chief Mountain. Will I do it again? Probably not, but I'm thankful for the opportunity. And yeah, that's my story. Thank you.